Minecraft is one of the most beloved and easily recognized— okay, we've done this song and dance before, and if you haven't, go watch my 3-part AFMAO series. These new videos are genuinely an affront to God, and I'll be seeing AFMAO in hell. Or if you don't have 13 hours to spare, don't worry, I'll fill you in. This isn't my first rodeo, but it is in fact my second, so thank you to all returning viewers and thank you to all new viewers. This series is not even going to come close to how long my AFMAO series was. I don't foresee it being more than 2 parts, and neither of them will be longer than like 2 hours. As a reminder, I am a college student with 2 majors, so it's a miracle I was able to crank this video out that fast. Don't say I never did anything for you all. This time we're gonna tackle Samgladiator's Yandere High School series, and I'm sure that name alone is enough to give some of you chills. But before we even bring up anything Minecraft related, there's a lot of context that leads into the creation of this series. Samgladiator's Yandere High School Minecraft roleplay is inspired by the ever so popular and beloved Yandere Simulator. I'm being sarcastic if that wasn't obvious. If you don't know about Yandere Simulator, I'd be pretty surprised because it kind of took YouTube by storm like 10 or so years ago. Everyone and their mom was playing it for a bit. We're not here to talk super in-depth about Yandere Simulator itself though, because there are at least 100 other video essays on the topic. And the lore runs deep, we could be here for another hour or 2. I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown so that you understand the context in which Sam's series was uploaded. Basically, Yandere Simulator first came out with its first test builds in 2014, and 11 years later, the game is still not finished. The basic premise is that you play as this girl, Ayano, more commonly known as simply Yandere Chan. And she's what you would call a yandere. A yandere is any character that is so infatuated with someone that it makes them physically violent, often to the point of murder. Yandere Simulator was certainly not the birthplace of this character type, but it definitely helped popularize it among preteens on the internet. There's a lot of characters that fall into this category that I'm sure you probably know about, and they were really popular when this game was blowing up. Like this video if you were also personally victimized by the Nightcore version of Pretty Little Psycho. If you know, you know. In the game, the playable character has a crush, otherwise known as senpai. And you are tasked with eliminating your rivals one by one, leaving senpai all to yourself, in theory. In reality, the game is basically unplayable, removing all possible creativity or fun the player could have sexualizing minors, and by the way, only one of the rivals is finished in the base game. And the developer's a fucking neat incel piece of shit that thinks kids should have licenses to fuck, and is so insensitive that there are speedruns to get banned from his Discord server that are sub 1 second. But to be fair, none of that was known at the time of the game's popularity on YouTube. And again, most of it is irrelevant to what we're here for. All you need to know is that the game was mega popular when Sam was uploading his Yandere High School series, and it's the inspiration behind it all. And honestly, this series in its 80-something episodes has more plot than Yandere Simulator ever did, and the game has had like a decade to catch up. If you're willing to look as deep into things as I am, you could stretch this series to be about the shortcomings of police and capitalism in our society. And I'm still debating on whether those things were written intentionally or not. You'll see what I mean. And would you believe me if I said that we are 2 for 2 in terms of incest in Minecraft roleplays? Once again, I mean incest with an asterisk, but we'll get there. So back to Samgladiator, or Sam himself, he's made Minecraft content since the dawn of his channel. His early videos were mostly focused on Minecraft minigames and the occasional playthrough of other popular games at the time like Surgeon Simulator and Happy Wheels. He made videos here and there with other popular creators at the time like Ant Venom and Gizzy Gaza, but his videos really started taking off when he made roleplays, especially his 5 Nights at Freddy's roleplays. Eventually, in August of 2015, he uploaded the first part of his Yandere High School roleplay series, the first of over 80 episodes, most of which would become the most popular videos on his channel. Sam's roleplays differ from the ones that I've discussed previously in a way that makes them a little bit more dynamic. Every character is played by a real person in real time, which makes the world feel a lot more alive. Even though there are certain scripted lines and the story is all planned out, everyone has a bit more creative freedom. For example, jokes tend to land better because they happen naturally instead of being fully scripted. In Yandere High School, Sam is also joined by fellow content creator Tortoise. Sam and Tortoise are the only voiced characters, and since Sam has someone to actually verbally speak to, it makes the whole thing feel a lot less awkward. I will say that as a kid, I had only seen an episode or 2 of this series compared to the AFMAO cinematic universe where I had seen like half of the seasons before going back for my rewatch. So I really didn't know what to expect here, and honestly, it's a lot different than I thought it would be. And to this very moment, I still don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. There's no point in any further delay, so let's just begin.
Dude, you're just gonna cross the road? You gotta look both ways.
Okay, I'm looking
What if
both
a car
ways.
hits you?
So the Yandere High School series takes place in Japan, but for your viewing pleasure and convenience, everyone still speaks English. Just be prepared to be weirded out by this white boy's interpretation of Japan. The series stars Sam as himself and Tortoise as also himself. Sam is a bit more bashful, awkward, and socially inept. And Tortoise is a bit more silly, kinda like the class clown. And they're the two characters that we're gonna be following around for the whole series. The first episode begins with the bros waking up and heading to their first day of school as second years, which would make them about 16 or 17 years old. Just keep that in mind when we get to some of the crazier parts of the series. When we get to school, we're introduced to a handful of characters. And once again, I will reiterate that all these characters are played by real people in real time. In the beginning, it seems like a lot of lines are scripted, but as we go on, a lot of it seems like it's come up with on the spot. First of all, their teacher's name is Gareth, which sounds familiar, almost like a past lover of sorts. Weird. We also meet Jay, who becomes a pretty good friend of Tortoise and Sam. He's really rich and everyone loves him. That's kind of it. Then there's the mean girls, Soul Owl and Yuki, and they're friends with this other girl, Suki. Suki and Yuki are different people. It's pretty easy to remember because Suki is green and Yuki is not. And yeah, Suki is spelled like this. Invader is also a mean girl, but she's a bit more aggressive, and her gender is a bit more ambiguous.
Whoa, look at that guy. Girl?
That's a girl, dude.
That's a girl?
Finally, for now anyway, we have the gym teacher named Rowan. He's very aggressive, abusive to his students, and he's canonically a Vietnam War veteran riddled with PTSD. With that, on the first day of class, Tortoise has already managed to piss off the teacher by making jokes about f***ing his ex-wife.
So
Yes,
you're
Tortoise?
saying your wife's single now?
Tortoise, what the heck?
No, is that too far? You want detention?
Dude, you're gonna get us in such big trouble.
Is your wife gonna be there?
Dude!
It seems arbitrary, but it actually comes up several more times, and Tortoise will be an enemy of Gareth for pretty much the entire remainder of the series. He follows Tortoise around the school all day, every day, to make sure he's not acting out of line, and he makes his hatred pretty well known. During lunch and gym, Suki, the green one, seems weirdly interested in Sam. She's caught staring at him a few times, so Sam deduces that this must mean that she likes him, and he decides to give her a carrot as a token of his affection. The other mean girls tease Suki because how dare Sam even consider talking to her, and they call him a loser, weirdo freak. He runs away embarrassed, but Suki chases after him and gives him several more carrots as a sort of apology. Ah, young love, kids these days and their carrots, am I right? The next day, their class is having show and tell, so Sam brings his teddy bear, Mr. Snugglemuffins. I doubt anyone in their class will have any qualms with that. Right, that was silly of me. Of course, the class of known mean girls doesn't like that Sam has a teddy bear and he gets the shit bullied out of him by literally everyone. And now his reputation is basically in hell. In an attempt to fix this, Tortoise goes up to the girls' table during lunch to talk Sam up and see if he can get him back on their good side. But he fails miserably and ends up joining them in their Sam shit talking, and he ends up bonding with them over this. And now Sam has to eat lunch alone.
What's with that bear, Tortoise? Tell him that my bear was awesome.
Dude, I know, right? It was so stupid.
Yeah, it was so... Dude, no, Tortoise, you're doing...
Did you see his bunny hat too?
Some fucking friend this guy is, what the hell? Later, Suki gets dared by the other girls to give Tortoise a carrot. And as we all know, carrots are a symbol of affection. Chalk it up to cultural differences, I guess. Sam gets jealous and tells Tortoise that Suki is his girlfriend, since she gave him carrots last episode.
Are you hitting on my girlfriend?
That's your girlfriend?
Of course, I gave her a carrot. That means she's my girlfriend.
Tortoise goes up to Suki to confirm this, and she's pretty confused since she's not Sam's girlfriend. By the end of the episode, Tortoise is quite beloved by the cool girls, and Sam is pretty hated. In fact, it's kind of implied that Yuki may have a little crush on Tortoise.
You already took the cookie, so you gotta buy it. If it's from Tortoise, oh my...
But don't fret, not all hope is lost for Sam, for Invader actually has a crush on him. Sam does not fuck with this though.
I don't want the hookup, she has a beard!
He's not down to wade through the jungle, I guess. Anyway, with all that silly high school drama out of the way, the boys get back home and find a ransom note that says, "I have your things, pay me money to get them back." And a handful of their belongings are missing. I feel like it's not a great ransom note if you don't say who to give the ransom to, but what do I know? They immediately theorize that Professor Gareth did it since Tortoise made a pretty quick enemy of him, and Invader jumps in and says that she doesn't trust Gareth either, and she thinks that he killed his ex-wife. What the hell? So to confirm their theories, and in an attempt to get their stuff back, they decide to sneak into Garrett's house where they find blood, and further inside they also find human skulls. Allegedly. Tortoise says he saw them, but they're gone before Sam can find them.
Okay, I'm closing doors. I don't see the teacher out front. What's in here?
There were human skulls right here.
There were human skulls?
There were human skulls just right here.
I didn't see anything, Tortoise. Where were the skulls?
Sam, they're on the table.
After finding what seems to be evidence of a murder, they all leave in a panic, breaking Garrett's window in the process. The next day, the police are investigating Garrett's house after it got broken into, and during class, Garrett says his ex-wife is missing and presumed dead. And also, he looks rough. And he's got a fucking noose hanging from the ceiling in the classroom. Any mandated reporters wanna do something about this? And also, as an aside unrelated to the plot, the local convenience store is selling dog meat.
And I guess they sell dog meat now?
Is that actually say dog meat? Are you serious?
That's dog meat. Here, you want the dog meat?
No, I don't want dog meat.
You can have that, just for you.
Is this racism? Anyway, during class, Gareth announces that a new student will be joining their class, and her name is Chan Yandere. Imagine being an English-speaking student and a new kid is brought to your class named Mrs. Murder, and you just have to be chill with that. During gym that day, a lot of things happen pretty quickly. First, Tortoise gets a girl's number. Nice. Her name is Shanna. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it doesn't matter because her name is changed to Salix in just a couple episodes. Then, Gareth is caught smoking weed in a shed. Let my boy smoke a J after a long day, holy shit. And finally, Sam asks Suki to go see a movie with him and he gets rejected. Womp womp. After school, everyone goes to a manga club meeting at Jay's house since he's the club president. While they're all hanging out doing club activities, they see gym teacher Rowan staring at them from outside. They go to ask him what the hell he's doing, and as they're doing this, they see Gareth roaming around the gym teacher's apartment. Sam and Tortoise go to investigate, and they don't stay very long, but the whole time they're there, Gareth is just acting kind of unusual. If you've seen this series before, then you know exactly what's coming, but before we get there, I have something a little bit more silly and trivial to bring up first. Tortoise is making his own Doritos competitor brand called Doritos.
Okay, you know how everyone loves Doritos, right? So what if I made my own Doritos brand?
You made your own Doritos?
Yeah, I'll call it Toritos.
Toritos the Doritos?
Yes. No, not Doritos, Toritos.
It sounds so dumb, but this whole competition between Toritos and Doritos is brought up so many times, I just have to bring it up here. And it also acts as a buffer for what I'm about to discuss, because holy shit. Content warning for side, so if that's not something you want to hear about, skip to this timestamp. The next day at school, everyone walks into their class to find that Gareth has hanged himself at the front of the room.
He hung himself?
Teacher Gareth hung himself, dude.
What the?
And literally nobody is reacting appropriately, oh my god. Everyone is just cracking jokes, and Sam and Tortoise see this as a net positive because they didn't do their most recent homework assignment.
We didn't have to do our homework then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of lucky for us because we didn't do our homework.
But also, jokes on them, in death, Gareth literally left a new homework assignment for them.
He still gave us homework?
He still gave us homework.
And it's right next to his fucking suicide note, Jesus Christ. In his note, he writes, "For everyone accusing me of murdering my wife, I didn't. I loved my wife, and I will be joining her soon." Gym teacher Rowan shows up to clear everyone out of the room, at which point Paul Blart, yes, the mall cop, shows up to investigate. And he loves illegal things. And in a completely different tone, this new guy Dom shows up, and he was dating Invader before she started liking Sam. So he's pissed off at Sam for stealing his girl even though Sam doesn't like Invader like that. So Invader officially breaks up with Dom, and Dom threatens Sam's life. So we're all just ignoring our very dead teacher in favor of some petty drama. And then, in an even weirder tone, there's this fucking robot that Sam and Tortoise want to steal. It's not really that important, that's all you need to know about it. and Jay agrees to help them steal it if, and only if, get this, they can steal Chan Yandere's panties for him. Huh? There is an uncomfortable emphasis placed on panties in the original Yandere simulator, so I shouldn't be that surprised, but I was pretty surprised.
Whoa. This seems weird.
So Sam and Tortoise agree to this deal and they head over to Chan Yandere's house. And outside of her house, she has a wall of various heads accompanied by 2 signs, one of which just says Neko-kun and the other says Rai-san. I don't know if we're supposed to think this is something ominous, but the first sign just says Cat-kun, and I don't know who or what Rai is. Maybe it's supposed to be Lai. I don't know, I'm obviously not fluent in Japanese. All I have is Google Translate and it's not being very helpful. And also it's not like it matters, I don't think any of this is ever brought up again. Anyway, the boys break into her house and they steal her intimates. But their escape plan is blocked and now they have to hide in her closet. And as they're hiding, they see her walk past them with a bloody knife. Whatever, right? Eventually, they make their way out of her house and give Jay the goods, and he helps them steal the robot. But they accidentally make it enter kill mode, which exists. So they all have to run away as the robot chases them down the street until Paul Blart shows up and he shoots the robot to death. Or I don't know, can you call it death if it's a robot? Anyway, the next day they have a new teacher considering their old teacher had to go to the big great teacher farm on the other side of the rainbow. This new teacher's name is Okami, and she's very joyful and fun. She begins her first day by setting off fireworks indoors, so safe to say she's pretty awesome. During gym, everyone is acting extremely weird. Chan is hiding in a bush and watching everyone from afar. Paul Blart is a peeping Tom in the boys' locker room, and that's also kind of just his thing from now on. He's just a creep. But weirdest of all, maybe, I guess Paul Blart is also pretty weird. After class, when they go back to change into their normal clothes, they see Yuki running out of the boys' locker room. She's later overheard talking to Salix about something great in there, and then she goes on about something to do with 2 dudes and fanfiction. But it's unclear what she saw in the locker room in the first place because we saw that there was nothing in there. This is the first of at least a dozen more occurrences of her sneaking into the boys' locker room, but we never find out what exactly it is she's doing in there. After school, Tortoise, Salix, Sam, and Invader plan a double date to the movies, to Sam's dismay because he is still not f***ing with Invader. But before anything can even be planned, Sam gets fucking jumped by Dom as everyone watches. When Paul Blart finally shows up, he arrests Sam and not Dom because he didn't see who started it. And this is kind of the start of the commentary on police that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. They literally cannot do anything right in the cinematic universe. So Sam literally goes to jail, mugshot and everything. He even joins a gang, kind of. The only members of the gang are him and his teddy bear, Mr. Snugglemuffins. He's basically a hardened criminal by the time he gets out, despite only being in there for like 5 minutes before Tortoise and Jay bail him out. But hey, with Sam out of jail, the double date can finally commence. Once they arrive at the movie theater, Sam spots Suki and he decides to give her a gift. But she's weirded out by him now, especially because now Sam is crossing all kinds of boundaries by trying to smell her hair.
What?
I sniffed her hair.
So now that Sam's on a watch list, everyone walks into the theater to watch Paul Blart Mall Cop. But it turns out it's less like the movie and more just like stand-up comedy by Paul Blart himself. And we also find out that Paul Blart is Invader's dad. The resemblance is pretty uncanny, honestly. I don't know how I didn't see it sooner. After all that nonsense, everyone decides to go to the mall. Right when they arrive, they see a fortune teller named Ellen, and they decide to go and get a reading. Sam asks an extremely specific question. Is anyone going to be hit by a car?
Is anyone here gonna get hit by a car?
And Ellen says yes. Salix is in fact going to be hit by a car. Be honest, what are you doing if you go to a fortune teller and that's what they tell you? Spirit is telling me you have 24 hours. They also warn that Sam should stay home tonight because otherwise he'll make the biggest mistake of his life. So with that in mind, Sam finds Suki and proceeds to be extremely creepy.
I think about you every night, have a photo of you in my room, and I watch you when you're sleeping.
Sounds good.
I guess I understand why this series is called Yandere High School because literally everyone here is a fucking freak. The double date ends with a nice dinner at a restaurant where Sam starts another fight with Dom. They decide that to settle this beef and to find out who's more manly, they're going to go to the school overnight and see who can last the longest without getting scared, because allegedly it's haunted after Gareth died there.
If you're so tough, I dare you. No, I double dog dare you to stay in the school at night. Well, if I'm staying, you're staying. Whoever stays the longest in the school.
This all makes perfect sense to me. So that night, everyone arrives at the school and everything is immediately pretty weird. The bell is ringing randomly despite the school being closed for the night, and they see Garrett's ghost walking into the building. Eventually, he finds the group and asks who killed his wife, so they all run away, causing Sam to lose the contest against Dom since he was the first to leave the building. Arguably not the biggest deal right now because we just found out that ghosts are real. Nobody seems that surprised though when everyone heads home for the night. The next morning, Sam and Tortoise find that they've been given an eviction notice because they haven't been paying their rent. And Tortoise is being sued by Doritos for his Toritos brand.
Doritos has also filed a lawsuit for Tortoise's new business, Doritos, which they have stated Tortoise bought tea stickers and slapped it over Doritos.
And just when you thought things couldn't possibly get any worse for our beloved protagonists, on their walk to school, they see that there's been a huge car accident right outside. And turns out, Tortoise's girl Salix got hit by a car. Who could have seen this coming? Despite one of their classmates being killed 2 feet away from school property, these kids are still expected to go to class afterwards. Ellen approaches Sam and Tortoise and says that they knew this was going to happen. Which is true, they did in fact predict this just a couple episodes ago. And once again, nobody thinks any of this weird supernatural stuff is at all unusual. A bit later, Tortoise gets a text from Salix. Weird considering she's fucking dead. So whoever this is texting Tortoise, it is certainly not Salix. Tortoise asks her what's up and she seems confused because nothing is up. She pretty quickly changes the subject and asks to meet him after school so she can let him know her true feelings. Sam and Tortoise go outside to the wreck just to make sure Salix really isn't alive, and yeah, she seems pretty dead. And the text Tortoise is receiving just keep getting weirder and weirder, with this person saying she loves him, that she's been watching him for a long time now. And this continues for basically the whole day. During lunch, Tortoise gets another text and the boys look around to see who all is on their phone to see if they can get an idea of who this person might be. It's kinda hard to tell because a lot of students are on their phones, but they make a note of specifically Yuki and Chan Yandere. And speaking of Yuki, her and Rowan are going out?
Is she going out with the gym teacher?
She's going out with the gym teacher? Why is she with the gym teacher? Why are they...
I don't know.
Somebody call someone? And as the day progresses, things just keep getting weirder. First of all, Garrett's fucking grave is on school grounds. This can't be allowed. Then Sam breaks up with Invader after she's been under the impression that they've been dating for days now. Sucks for her, I guess. But then, during gym, Yuki gets caught in the boys' locker room again. This time smelling someone's underwear. Once again, why is nobody doing anything about this? Tortoise gets more texts, as Chan Yandere is standing far off in the background on her phone, mind you, and this last text demands that Tortoise meet this person alone after school. After he's finally had enough, he says he's blocking this person's number and says that they should leave him alone or he'll get Officer Blart involved. And the mystery person says that he'll never get rid of them. The next day, Sam and Tortoise have packed up all of their things and now they have to move the next town over since they got evicted from their last place. On the train there, Tortoise gives Suki some gifts from Sam, including a bunch of creepy love letters, her own hair, and a skull.
So, Sam was a little bit too shy to give this to you, but he gave you a human skull.
Yep.
Here you go. Along with a bunch of love letters. There you go.
Yep.
There's actually a lot of them. Hold on, let me just...
I've actually collected some hair follicles.
Yeah, some hair follicles they maybe want back.
I taped them on the love letters.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's all of them.
Everyone in this town is way too desensitized to all of this odd shit. Once they arrive in the new town, this man called Stormform, a businessman of sorts, lures Tortoise and Sam down a dark alleyway for some shady deal. And you will not believe this. Well, maybe you will. This man tries to get Tortoise and Sam to sell coke for him. And they say yes. To be fair, they are unaware that what they're selling is coke, but come on.
Ooh,
What a swell guy.
it smells funny.
It does smell funny.
Yeah.
Whoa. You okay, Tortoise?
Yeah.
Are you doing okay, Tortoise?
I just feel like a little jittery. Let's get some good sugar.
This is some good sugar.
Some good sugar.
And later, Paul Blart buys coke off of them. What the fuck is going on? The boys realize pretty quickly that they don't have enough money to afford a nice apartment, so they have to get money quick. This is where the Stormform guy comes in handy. He says that he can give them a sketchy loan in exchange for them selling special candy for him. Ah, the joys of exploiting the lower class. He suggests that they go to the park to find buyers, so they do. And at the park, they find their teacher, Okami, and they try to sell to her. She is quite accepting and says that she wants a connection to their dealer too. So now, with their newly acquired drug money, they can afford a nice apartment. That night, they go to meet up with the dealer, but right as they arrive, he's ambushed by Paul Blart and Okami dressed in SWAT gear, and they fucking kill him. Average cop behavior. And Sam and Tortoise come to the realization that they have in fact been selling drugs this whole time. But now that they've moved into their new apartment and they have some money left over and their weird debt is absolved, they don't seem that concerned. And with their new money, Sam has purchased an engagement ring for Suki. And Tortoise thought it was for him and he says yes.
I got an engagement ring.
Yes, Sam. A million times yes.
No, not for you. What?
What? Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, they're never beating the boyfriend allegations. The next day at school, Tortoise is tasked with handing out wedding invitations to everyone, before Sam has even proposed yet. Tortoise is doing his thing, getting everyone their invites, and he ends up giving Suki an invitation without thinking. Once again, she's pretty weirded out. Sam doesn't really have a choice but to propose to her shortly after in front of the whole school, and she rejects him in front of everyone and says that she's actually into girls and that her and Soul Owl are a thing.
Can you say lesbian rights? I will say that.
I know this whole thing has been a bit of a roller coaster so far, but what happens next is just so especially incorrect. They go home for the evening and decide that they're going to pawn off the ring with the help of their landlord. But Sam's not giving up on Suki just yet. He says that he's just going to cross-dress and pretend to be a girl so Suki will finally like him.
I had the really good idea, this is a really good idea on my behalf, that I would pretend to be a girl so that I could get Suki back.
Okay, I need to emphasize something very quickly. It is currently 1 p.m. on November 10th. I'm about to export this video and upload it, but I want to make sure that this is very clear first. Sam's character is not trans. That's why this is an issue. He's just pretending to be a girl to manipulate Suki, a lesbian, into liking him. If Sam were trans, that would be a very different story and I would be reacting very differently. But the reason I'm so bothered by this is because he's not trans. He's just lying. I need that to be very clear. I love trans people, trans rights forever, f transphobia. Sam is not trans though, and that's why this is weird. And the cherry on top is that the girl's uniform that Sam is now wearing is Salix's, as in, he grave robbed her.
Where did you get that uniform, Sam?
Under a grave.
Under a grave?
Yeah, I was under a grave.
What specific grave did you get that? Because it looks like, it's all messed up.
Do you remember your girlfriend?
This is actually not the last time that Sam grave robs in this series. But anyway, the point is that Sam is now Samantha for the next handful of episodes. The next day, Paul Blart approaches Sam and Tortoise and tells them that the drug dealer that they just killed was part of the Yakuza, aka the Japanese Mafia. And he told them Sam and Tortoise's names. Bro, you are the police. Do something. There's a couple episodes where not a whole lot happens. The only thing worth noting is that Dom actually has a crush on Samantha, and they have to perform Romeo and Juliet in front of the class for an assignment, and they have to kiss. And for the whole thing, Dom is fully unaware that Samantha is Sam. It's kind of random for now, but it does come back up in a little bit. Another thing that's a bit random is that Dom's dad is Mr. Dorito, aka the CEO of the Doritos company, I guess. And after he acquired Sam and Tortoise's home in the lawsuit, he turned it into Doritos HQ. Once again, this feud lasts for the entire series. Back to the actual plot though, Tortoise and Sam sneak into the shared house of Soul, Yuki, and Suki. Sam's goal is to poison Soul's food to, quote, eliminate his competition.
I need to get rid of the competition.
What competition?
Soul.
They successfully plant the poison without anyone noticing, but they end up trapped inside their house without a clear escape. They're trapped in the bathroom closet as Yuki starts to take a bath, at which point Tortoise begins taking photos and videos of her.
Are you taking pictures?
No. Taking a
Oh
video.
my god, Tortoise, you taking pictures?
Not pictures.
You're making a video of it?
These are children, mind you. They find an escape eventually, but as they're leaving, Suki drinks the poison drink instead of Soul, and she collapses in pain as Sam and Tortoise flee the scene. When they arrive back home, their landlord, who's going to help them pawn off the old engagement ring, says he found a buyer. Sam and Tortoise decide to be slick about it though, and they buy an identical fake ring to sell instead so they can keep the real ring, for whatever reason. They go to the buyer to make a deal, and turns out he's also a member of the fucking Yakuza. And he is quite aggressive. But luckily for the boys, he doesn't recognize them as the people that got one of their members killed. And he believes the fake ring is real, so he hands over the money and Sam and Tortoise leave with their lives. The next day, turns out Tortoise has to dress as a girl now too. His original school uniform is missing, I guess, and the only remaining uniform is a girl's uniform. Suki's, actually, since she's now deathly ill after Sam accidentally poisoned her. So Tortoise has to just roll with this, and he's Teresa now. Yeah, I couldn't think of any alternative course of actions to this either. On their way to school, they meet a new character, Pepe. Yes, as in the frog. This really puts into perspective the vibe at the time this series was coming out. Pepe lives in a dumpster and is also suicidal. I can't help but feel bad for the little guy. He has no idea the horrors that await him in later episodes. At school, Suki is back, but she is fully unable to see as her neck is broken and she can only look straight up. What the hell kind of poison was this? Everyone makes their way to class where it's show and tell day. Again, we already did this. During Sam's turn, he decides to share Tortoise's phone with the class. And on Tortoise's phone is, of course, the pictures he took of Yuki as she was bathing a couple episodes ago. And once again, nobody is concerned enough about this child pornography that Tortoise has on his phone. These kids are like 16. Since nobody cares about this crime, everyone heads to gym like normal, where Sam and Tortoise have to go to the girls' locker room to keep up their alter egos. It's a bit weird.
My strap, it's stuck. Oh.
Oh yeah, help her undo her strap, Tortoise.
Sure, I can help with that. Because I've definitely, because mine gets stuck all the time.
During gym though, a member of the Yakuza just shows up to this high school and asks for Sam because he's a good friend of his. And again, nobody calls the police on this fucking Yakuza member that's asking for a high school student. But nothing really comes of this in the end because Sam is absent today, given that Samantha is here instead. The gym teacher keeps up the boys' little charade and the Yakuza guy leaves. Gym teacher Rowan seems to be the only one that can tell that Sam and Tortoise aren't actually girls. Or at least he's the only one willing to say anything to them about it. But for some reason, he agrees to cover for them and help keep their secret. After school, Sam asks Tortoise on a quote-unquote practice date so that he can practice for when he eventually goes on a real date with Suki. Once again, the boyfriend allegations win. Their date is to the movies, again, and this time they're going to see the B movie. It's like seeing an ex. Remember when humor was so simple, all you had to do was say something about the B movie and everyone lost their fucking minds? Anyway, just like last time, instead of the actual movie playing, it's just Paul Blart dressed as a bee pretending to be Jerry Seinfeld and doing stand-up. It's pretty awesome. After the movie, the boys go to dinner at a restaurant where Tortoise orders a super expensive amount of food that they can't afford. So they unsuccessfully try to dine and dash before Tortoise ditches Sam to go hang out with Dom, because turns out Dom has a crush on Teresa. The next day at school, Yuki asks to speak to Sam and Tortoise privately because she has secret information about Salix's death. She says she saw Chan Yandere with Salix's phone after the accident, and that she has reason to believe that Chan is responsible for Salix's death. And also, she knows that Samantha and Teresa are just Sam and Tortoise. Thanks, Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, the point is that Yuki wants to expose Chan for her crimes. The plan is that Tortoise is going to pretend to date Yuki to make Chan jealous, and when Chan tries to kill her, they can all team up on her to stop her. They end up getting Rowan, Okami, and her daughter Cillian on it too, since they're low-key Secret Service agents, as seen in the episode where they killed the Yakuza drug dealer. And also, side note, it's been confirmed that Okami and Rowan are together and Cilly is their child. I guess we all forgot about the implication that Rowan and Yuki were dating at the beginning of the series. Throughout the day, Yuki and Tortoise really play up the PDA in front of Chan to make her upset. The two of them lure Chan back to Yuki's house where Yuki goes to take a bath, as she's known to do. Unbeknownst to Chan though, Sam, Tortoise, Okami, and Cilly wait in the closet. Sure enough, Chan breaks into the bathroom with a bloody knife and she starts accusing Yuki of something. She says that she's insane and she's not gonna let this end up like last time. Before we get to find out any more though, Rowan, Okami, and Cilly catch Chan and arrest her as she shouts that it's Yuki they want, not her. And a bit later, Rowan and Okami say that they didn't even check if Chan had Salix's phone on her. So all this is stacking up to be pretty suspicious. Did Chan actually have something to do with Salix's death? We don't really know anymore. So now that that's over, we get back to some more silly B-plot. Except when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it's really not all that silly goofy. For some context, there's this other character named Pufferfish Pete, and he seems to run all of the businesses in this town, from convenience stores to the train station. And turns out, he's a racist against frogs, and he fucking hates Pepe. He literally refuses him service and calls him slurs and shit. I know it's not a real slur, but it still feels like I'm not allowed to say it.
Watch, now there's gonna be like separate water fountains.
It's also stated that Pepe originated from a science experiment, perhaps related to Jay, because now Jay is a mad scientist who's turned his house into a lab filled with test subjects, and he's making nuclear bombs. Yeah, whatever, dude, I don't even care. Anyway though, all of that is surprisingly irrelevant, but Pepe and Pete's rivalry is not. Pufferfish Pete actually has a daughter named Patty, and Patty and Pepe are actually in love. They come back up a few more times after this to distract us from the other weird shit going on. Back to main plot though, Sam and Tortoise decide to break into Salix's old apartment to look for clues about her death. I was about to say something about how they are definitely not qualified to solve this actual crime, but then I remembered that the only real law enforcement that we've seen in this universe so far is Paul Blart Mall Cop, so yeah, whatever, go for it. They end up finding Salix's diary, and inside she talks about how excited she is for her date with Tortoise, which is really cute. But she also says that she feels like she's being watched by someone. She describes them as having a navy blue suit, a red tie, a hat, and brown hair covering one eye. And this description only matches one person that we know of, the Yakuza. They don't have much time to think about this though because they have to go to school. Really puts into perspective how they are 16 and involved with drugs, murder, and the Yakuza. At school, Dom is confronted with the fact that he liked Samantha and Teresa, but they're both actually dudes, so he asks to be excused because he's confused about his sexuality. Why was that kind of bars? Anyway, Dom is really affected by this. He has insane internalized homophobia, and he questions how he's going to be able to tell his homophobic dad about this. He's so distraught that he literally tries to get hit by a car. He would rather die than come out to his homophobic dad, which is a little bit too real and too depressing for the level of maturity that this show tends to take. With the way that I'm summarizing, if you've never seen the series yourself before, it can probably be assumed that the series has a pretty serious tone, but no, everything has a very comedic air to it. Even when it comes to things like this, and Garrett's death, and drugs, and the Mafia. It's another complex debate like I had with my AFMAO videos. Do these kinds of topics belong in the medium of Minecraft roleplay, which is primarily consumed by children? That's just food for thought for now, we'll circle back to this at the end. Anyway, back to the plot, Yuki is acting strange again. She's still sneaking into the boys' locker room, and now she's sniffing Tortoise's hair.
By the way, Yuki's sniffing your hair.
Maybe Chan was onto something when she said that Yuki was really the one they wanted. And even stranger still, when the boys head home, they can see the Yakuza in their apartment from the street, so they stay at Jay's house for the night. And even stranger than that, the next episode we get more frog racism. Turns out, Frogs canonically used to be slaves in this universe.
I'm not your slave.
Yeah.
You know, I feel really bad about history because frogs used to be slaves. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, our country.
So yeah, Yandere High School is really doubling down on their frogs to real-life minorities metaphor. And it gets worse in just a second, we'll get there. For now, the boys head back to their apartment, and when they arrive, they find that their front door was booby-trapped and there's a falsified suicide note left inside. It reads, "Hello friends, if you're reading this, I'm dead, and my plan of dropping an anvil on my head worked. I could not take this rejection from my eternal love Suki anymore. I'm leaving all of my belongings. Okay. I'm leaving all my belongings to the wonderful organization Yakuza, Samgladiator." So obviously the Yakuza is trying to kill Sam and make it look like a suicide. Anyway, back to the weird frog racism stuff. Tortoise is dressed as a turtle right now for reasons, and he gets kicked out of Pufferfish Pete's store for more racism. So Pete hates amphibians and reptiles. That's just up. When they all arrive at the train to go to school, Pete tries to kick Pepe and Tortoise out. And there are a lot of really uncomfortable references to Rosa Parks this episode.
I don't care. I mean, that's racism.
You need to sit
I'm
in the
Rosa
back.
Parking. No, I'm Rosa Parksing it.
You need to sit in the back with
No.
the frog people. Okay.
Nope. I'm sitting in the front, and I
No.
won't move.
In the back is where the
Rosa Parks was a hero, Sam.
Okay.
This is discrimination, and I will not put up with it.
This is all a little bit too jokey for my liking, but what do I know? And Sam doubles down and calls Tortoise and Pepe inferior races.
That's how it is, Tortoise.
You say I can't shop here?
No, dude, because you're an inferior race.
I don't know, dude, this is kinda weird. Look at me. I'm never going to claim to be the end-all be-all authority on what is or isn't racist, but I don't know, this just doesn't sit right with me. Maybe I'm just speaking from the 2025 context instead of from the 2015 context that the series was being uploaded in, but I don't know, do with it what you will. Anyway, after Dom is done going through another crisis where he is emotionally abused by his homophobic father, yay, prom is happening, and Pepe asks Patty to prom. How romantic. Truly the Romeo and Juliet of our time. And then Invader asks Sam. He says no. And finally, Tortoise asks Yuki, and she says yes, eventually, after she smells his hair and goes to the boys' locker room for whatever it is she's doing in there all the time. Again, we still don't know what the hell she's doing in there. And now she's being awfully clingy to Tortoise. This is not sitting right with me. But now, finally for a good change of pace. It's the weekend, so everyone's going to turn up at the beach. And we have a new main character joining the mix. It ends up being Grian, like the other successful YouTuber. He becomes a main character for pretty much the remainder of the series with a couple exceptions. He's actually quite a welcome change. He's one of the only characters with common sense and self-awareness, so he tends to call Sam and Tortoise out on their bullshit. He's like the sense of justice that we've been lacking for a while. Like, he calls Sam out for pretending to be a girl to get Suki.
Was that the lady you were after?
Yeah, it was, and then she found out I wasn't a lesbian.
Well,
Because he's a dude.
I mean, you kind of deserve it. You did try and trick her.
Hey! Those are fighting words.
Finally, someone acknowledges how fucking weird that was. But this acts as a wake-up call for Sam, and he's kind of over Suki now. And instead, he's moved on to Yuki. He tries to ask her to prom despite her already going with Tortoise, and we actually don't get to see how this exchange ends. Because the episode ends quite abruptly, and when the next begins, we're in a different location. It comes back around eventually, though. Everyone decides to go to the mall before they hit the beach, where they get fortunes from Ellen again, and she says that Tortoise is going to undergo a lot of turmoil, which does not bode well considering their last fortune got someone killed. And then everyone spots Chan Yandere in public, the first time anyone's seen her since she went to jail. The boys get Grian to go up to her and just straight up ask her if she killed Salix.
Yeah, did you kill Tortoise's girlfriend?
She doesn't directly say no, actually, which is a point of contention.
You still didn't say if you did or didn't do it.
Yeah, right?
She said you were accused.
Yeah. What?
So you still didn't tell me if you killed her or not.
But she says that the case was dropped due to a lack of evidence. Once they get to the beach, Chan and Yuki immediately are very standoffish with each other, which checks out considering their last meeting ended with threats and an arrest. And also, side note, they bury Pepe alive. Leave that poor guy alone. Anyway, general beach activities ensue, nothing really important happens. There's a sandcastle building competition and a muscle contest. None of it is super relevant to the plot. Until Sam tries to reverse psychology Yuki into liking him.
I'm pretty cool guy. All the girls like me, and I got their panties. I've been stealing them because the girls want me to have the panties. And I'm popular. But I don't care about you. Alright, I think I did that right, Creon?
She's not fucking with it though. Can't imagine why that didn't work. Green is here to save the day though, and he tries to help Sam work things out with her. Somehow, the whole thing ends up with Yuki going to prom with both Tortoise and Sam, her two boyfriends who are also boyfriends. This is my challengers. But make no mistake, this isn't a happy conclusion for Sam and Tortoise. They're both really jealous of each other. Also, Green asks Chan to prom. They agree to go as friends, but she seems pretty happy about it. Finally, after all that's done, Green has to leave for a couple episodes, but he'll be back. But now it's prom night. Before they actually arrive to the dance, Sam and Tortoise are acting very territorial over Yuki. They are absolutely not comfortable with the idea of sharing her, and Sam is obsessed with her despite not really caring about her just a few episodes ago. The dance itself is pretty sick though, they mosh and there's also alcohol. I'll drink to that. The vibes are pretty good until Chan realizes she's been stood up by Green. Tortoise is #1 wingman though and covers for him.
Yeah, you know what? He texted me and he had to go save a bunch of puppies from a fire. But he said he really wanted to make it, and he's sorry he couldn't make it, and he wanted to give you this carrot.
Tortoise goes with her to make her feel better, and as he's gone, Sam approaches Yuki and tells her that neither him nor Tortoise like her anymore. She asks to speak with him outside, and she's really not pleased. At least I don't think pleased people tend to pull out bloody knives. So Sam runs away back to prom, and Yuki leaves to go God knows where with her sudden murderous rage. And the festivities continue as normal. Once again, all of the people in this universe display that they have the survival instincts of a fucking paper plate. Later, Pepe and Patty are pronounced prom king and queen, to which Pepe proposes to Patty and she says yes. How beautiful. That is, until Pufferfish Pete shows up and starts calling Pepe slurs and beating his ass. He gets away with this. Now that hate crimes have been committed, it's time for the after party at Suki's place, and they all get pretty fucked up.
It's non-stop, just drink as much as you can, Tortoise.
I'll drink to that. So turns out maybe Tortoise isn't as good of a wingman as I initially thought, because Chan approaches him during the party and asks to do quote-unquote things, and he doesn't say no. While that's happening, Sam ventures into Yuki's room and reads her diary, which is just filled with suspicious, odd shit. She talks about how she's able to watch back, and she says no one will know. And speak of the devil, Yuki shows up to the party with a knife and starts demanding to see Sam. Suki starts shouting at everyone to leave, and Sam tries to make his escape. He's successful eventually, but she chases after him. Once they get away, Chan ends up inviting Tortoise to stay the night at her place, and he does. So yeah, fully fuck Green, I guess. Sam gets a text from Yuki where she threatens his life, but then she says that she didn't actually mean anything that she did or said because she was drunk. I've had my fair share of drunken escapades, but I've never had the urge to kill anyone before, but I don't know, everyone's different, I guess. Regardless, the two of them agree to forget the whole night, and Yuki says that Sam can't make any more mistakes. But now it's time for the Halloween special. Maybe I'll have this video out in time for Halloween, who knows? It's not looking good though. Everyone's all dressed up, they're handing out candy and going trick-or-treating, the vibes are awesome. Until the fucking Yakuza show up again. And this guy demands that Sam date Yuki from now on, lest something unfortunate happen to him. So what choice does Sam have? He's dating Yuki now. But hey, Green is back. And Chan declares that her and Tortoise are officially boyfriend and girlfriend. Congrats. When Sam and Yuki finally meet up, she acts fully unaware of the deal with the Yakuza and she won't stop pulling out a knife. Seems pretty believable to me. Her and Chan spend a good bit fighting over whose boyfriend is more masculine or whatever, so to prove a point or something, they all sneak into Garrett's old house. Inside, it's all fucked up and overgrown with nooses hanging everywhere, and now Pepe is here, and he seems possessed by Garrett's spirit. He keeps talking about his dead ex-wife for a little bit, and when Pepe comes back down to reality as himself, he says he doesn't remember the room looking this fucked up when he arrived. Ellen the psychic shows up to perform an exorcism. Pepe gets possessed again, and he keeps bringing up Tortoise, as if Tortoise was the one who killed his ex-wife. But also a lot of his speech is, like, redacted. Like the Epstein files, right guys? Topical joke to distract from how fucked up everything is. Ellen gives Pepe some pufferfish to ward off the spirits, and it actually seems to work, and Pepe is fine now. And also, Ellen is Green's girlfriend now? Trauma brings hearts together, or whatever. So now, the 3 girlfriends are fighting over whose boyfriend is the best. So once again, they all go to the school at night to see who chickens out last. Like last time, they see some spooky ghost and find some blood on the ground. As far as this series goes, nothing too out of the ordinary. Sam eventually suggests that they play Bloody Salix, which is just Bloody Mary, but with Salix, if you couldn't assume that from the title. So they do, and they see her. Spooky. As they keep searching, they find a bunch of signs around that have weird messages written on them. They eventually find themselves on the roof, where Salix appears in front of Tortoise, but before he can say anything to her, she fucking jumps off the building. She continues to appear and disappear for a bit, and when she finally talks, she says that she always loved Tortoise. I get that they were like 16 and dating, but weren't they only together for like a week? This is a bit dramatic. I've had my fair share of frustrating situationships, but I don't think I'd consider telling any of them that I loved them if I was trapped between realms. So now the guys go to leave, and then the most frightening of all, genuinely, this is kinda creepy, when they make it to the entrance of the school, they find 3 nooses and stools right in the entryway with a note denouncing them for mocking the spirits and saying that the killer still lingers. So this is the final straw for the boys, and they decide to leave and meet back up with the girls. And Chan and Yuki are suddenly quite friendly with each other. Low-key, they should just be girlfriends instead. Yuki starts acting really suspicious when it comes to discussing Salix, like as if she doesn't want Sam and Tortoise to know the truth about what happened to her. And now, Chan is acting weird too. Then, Sam and Tortoise start fighting over their girlfriends, which is better and all that. Why does this keep happening? And this all culminates in Sam stabbing Tortoise. Tortoise doesn't seem that affected by it right now. Maybe it's all the adrenaline from their ghost encounter a few minutes ago. But it comes back in a second. For now, Grian has to leave, and Tortoise is going to drive the bus to get him back to the airport or something. As Sam leaves by himself, he mumbles about how he's gonna get back at Tortoise for talking trash about his girlfriend.
I'm gonna set up a trap for Tortoise when he comes home. I'm gonna stab him good, try and talk trash about my girlfriend. I'll show him who's the better boyfriend. Thinks he's so great. I'll teach him a lesson.
You know, the girlfriend that he hates and is being forced to date by the Yakuza. And speaking of Tortoise, next episode, he's missing. He never made it back home after driving Grian. Sam isn't that bothered though, and he continues with his daily routine as normal. When he leaves his apartment, he finds Yuki outside waiting for him. And she's really fucking annoying. They're at the convenience store before school, and she keeps whining and begging Sam to buy her a fucking Mountain Dew. Oh my god, she doesn't even have a voice, but I feel like I can hear how agitating and grating it would be if she did. She's the worst. I fucking hate Yuki. Anyway, Grian is back in town already. Kind of. He actually never left because Tortoise crashed the bus due to his aforementioned stab wound bleeding out, so Grian had to take him to the hospital.
He passed out, crashed the bus, and I had to take him to hospital.
Sam realizes that he doesn't know how to function without his dear friend Tortoise, so he asks Grian to dress up as and pretend to be Tortoise just to make him more comfortable. And Grian doesn't have much of a choice in the matter, so he obliges. The next day at school, Rowan is acting a little weird. He goes up to Green and tells him that he should run soon. What is this guy's deal? He tries to bring Sam into his office to show him something, and then he tries to put Sam into the punishment pit. And then, Yuki fucking kills Rowan. Glad she didn't overreact. Then Sam has this weird breakdown where Yuki gets really mad at Grian for not being Tortoise, so Grian runs away as he was instructed to do by Rowan. Sam chases after him and talks about how he can smell him and he can't hide forever and whatnot.
Tortoise, where did he go? Tortoise. I smell you, Tortoise. I smell you. You think you can hide from me, Tortoise?
From this point on, Sam has just absolutely gone off the deep end. That's what losing your secret boyfriend will do to you, I guess. Then, Rowan is back pretty quickly considering it's Minecraft, and he calls in Okami to sedate Sam, since remember their whole family is SWAT. Sam is acting insane, fully convinced now that Grian is Tortoise and he's threatening everyone's lives. And Okami's attempts to sedate him don't work. Invader says that Sam has to go back to the insane asylum, to which Sam responds that he's not going back there again.
I'm not going to the insane asylum. I'm not going back there again.
What do you guys mean by back? So Sam runs off and the episode ends, and when the next begins, Tortoise is still gone and Sam is still demanding that Grian act like Tortoise. Grian tries to stage some kind of intervention, but it doesn't really work, so the two of them leave for school together. On their way to the train station, they see the real Tortoise at the playground in his hospital gown, all blood-stained, ass out and everything. When they go up to him, he says he doesn't remember who he is or how he got here, and because Sam is so deep in his psychotic episode, he truly believes Grian is Tortoise, and now he doesn't recognize who the real Tortoise is either. So now, Grian is the only one who knows what's going on and who's who, but he can't tell Sam because no matter how hard he tries, Sam is dead set on the fact that Grian is Tortoise. So Sam decides that the real Tortoise should be called Jerry now, and they bring him along with them to school. Once they get to the train station and meet up with all the other classmates, everyone is on the same page that Grian is Tortoise and Tortoise is Jerry. Grian is officially the only sane person in this town. The only other person who recognizes Tortoise for himself is Chan, his girlfriend, in case you forgot. But of course, Tortoise doesn't have any of his memories anymore, so he doesn't recognize her either. As the day progresses, Jerry and Sam are hitting it off pretty well, and there's a growing rift between Grian and Sam. More and more people are also realizing how weird it is that Tortoise is Jerry and Grian is Tortoise now, most significantly Okami and Yuki, but they're all playing into it because of how much they fear Sam. During lunch, Rowan and Yuki suddenly have crazy beef. I would also probably have beef with my own murderer. He says that she's not a woman, she's a monster, and the two of them pull knives on each other and start fighting. And afterwards, everyone is back to normal. What the fuck is going on? Why are knife fights just a daily occurrence for these people? This is like how European people think that guns are in American schools. And also, how is this 16-year-old girl putting up a good fight against a war veteran? And again, Rowan just keeps getting weirder and more violent. During gym, they're having swim class, and Sam climbs up the diving board as Rowan punches him back down over and over again, causing Sam to break both of his legs and his spine. But not to worry, Tortoise/Jerry kisses him to make him feel better, and this cures him.
Can you kiss my broken arm?
Will that make it better?
Yeah.
Will it make you feel better?
Yeah.
Mwah.
Maybe give me a kiss on my leg.
On your leg?
Yep.
That's kind of a weird spot. Like on the inner thigh, maybe? Is that where it hurts? There we
That's
go.
a little close.
Mwah.
Oh,
Even for you.
oh no, my leg feels much better.
Where else does it hurt?
My forehead.
Your forehead?
Yeah.
Mwah. How about your lips? Are your lips a little hurt?
Yeah.
Is that bruised a little bit too?
Yeah.
That's kind of hot.
They'll find each other no matter how deep into amnesia either of them are, and that's beautiful. Next episode, the boys are trying to find jobs so they can afford a nicer apartment. Luckily, Yuki shows up right then and says that her dad can probably help them get jobs. Wait, you mean they don't have to apply to 100 different Indeed listings and get ghosted by 99 of them before they find a job? How unrealistic can this be? So Yuki leads the way and brings them all to the Yakuza HQ. Great. Immediately, they all sit down and play poker, and the boys all go all in and lose their remaining money. Awesome. Yuki brings the guys to her dad, who ends up being the head of the fucking Yakuza named Karu. Look, I don't know how the real-life Yakuza works, but it can't be like this, right? He says that he'll give the boys a new place to live in exchange for some favors, and turns out the favor in question is a list of targets that they need to collect money from. The guys get all fitted up to go complete their end of the deal, and they just go down their list of people, either taking money from them or beating them up. One of their targets ends up being Jay, and when they find him, he immediately starts burning his money because that would be better than giving it to the evil Yakuza. And by the way, we don't ever see Jay again after this. What the hell ever. The boys don't falter though, and they continue on. After robbing some more people, they make it over to Okami and Rowan's house. Rowan owes the Yakuza, but again, he's SWAT and a war veteran, so he jumps out of his second-story window and bludgeons Tortoise, which gets him his memories back. Now he remembers that he's actually Tortoise and not Jerry.
Jerry, you just got smashed in the head so hard.
Who?
Jerry.
Why is he calling me Jerry, Green?
Sam is still confused though, and in a rage, he runs into Okami's house and steals a shit ton of money. The boys run away with the money, and Okami chases them with a gun. When she finally catches them, she says she's not mad, she's just disappointed, and she leaves and lets them keep the money. For whatever reason. It is literally her daughter's college fund. Once the boys finally collect themselves, Sam's got it back in his head that Tortoise is Tortoise and Grian is Grian. Finally. And the two of them make up and are best friends again, and they all lived happily ever after. If only. After another day of stealing money from people on their target list, the boys debate whether they should give the money they collected to the Yakuza so they can get a house in return, or if they should keep the money for themselves and buy a house on their own. After some deliberation, they decide to keep the money for themselves for whatever reason. They'd rather be indebted to the Mafia. So they all meet with a realtor, and he tries to sell them homes that people are already living in. The second house he shows them is Suki, Sol, and Yuki's house. And Suki and Sol are actively making out during the house tour.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I think they're...
Hey ladies. They're telling secrets?
That's largely irrelevant though. When they make it to Invader's house, inside she has a fucking shrine dedicated to Sam filled with his saliva, sweat, and a pair of her underwear that he touched. This is never brought up again. At the last place the boys tour, they look outside and see all of the Yakuza down on the street telling them to basically pay up or else. Luckily, Paul Blart and Rowan show up to save the day, and they just open fire on the Yakuza, causing a massive shootout. They all run inside and start chasing the boys, and everyone ends up doing crazy parkour and jumping across roofs and shit. Eventually the boys meet up with Paul and Rowan, and they get themselves weapons and plan their escape. They make their way to the convenience store and lure the Yakuza to their location, where a second shootout begins. They force the Yakuza back and make a run for the train, and somehow these three 16-year-old boys make it out of a shootout with the Mafia. Once they get to the other side of town, Paul Blart and Rowan turn the boys into the police for questioning, where Okami also works. Says a lot about the economy that these hardworking people have to work 2 jobs. So the boys get all their stuff confiscated from them, and they get their mugshots taken before they're brought to Paul Blart for interrogations. He immediately is pretty pissed, given the boys' history of drug selling and gang violence and robbery and whatnot. Grian talks back to Paul, so he gets put in a padded cell by himself, and as soon as he's gone, Sam and Tortoise turn on him and blame everything on Grian. So Paul gives the two of them a deal. If they work with the cops to get inside info on the Yakuza's operations, they'll drop all charges against them. So they take the deal. And then, Grian gets beat by the police.
Damn,
Ow!
doesn't recognize
Rowan's
you.
just beating me!
Says a lot about our society. So the boys get all fitted up in their disguises, looking good guys, and now they're being relocated to directly next door to the Yakuza, and they all have to come up with aliases. Sam is Fabio and Tortoise is Alonzo, and they're both foreign students from Italy here to study the arts. Sounds alright to me. And Grian is Charles from the UK. I'm not sure that's so believable. So with their new identities, they just go up to the Yakuza and introduce themselves. And immediately, Sam and Tortoise change their fake names to Mario and Luigi.
I think your name was Luigi.
Luigi and your Mario?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
You changing your names to Luigi and Mario?
Can we change it? It's too late.
I mean, why the hell not? The Yakuza doubt whether Sam and Tortoise are really Italian. I can't imagine why. But the boys move into their new house with no issues. Until they try to break into the Yakuza's office and they get walked in on by Yuki's dad. But they somehow manage to play it off and they get away with it. Whatever, right? The next day at school, the Yakuza are pretending to be students so that they can follow the boys and get inside information on them. The spy-ees become the spyers, as they famously say. The boys go to report them to Paul Blart, but he doesn't believe them and insists that they're all just normal kids. Average cop behavior. Also, another unusual side note that's weird but not really super important ever again is that there are lengthy tunnels under the school, and Pepe is building a business underneath everything. Okay. Anyway, back to our normal weird stuff. Once again, Yuki goes to the boys' locker room, and this time she takes off her underwear and runs away. Literally, what is psychologically wrong with this girl, and why do we still not know what she's doing in the locker room? I'm coming to conclusions on my own, and I'm not liking any of them. After school, Yuki's running around looking for Sam, but his shitty police disguise is so effective that she can't find him. She's scouring the entire town with a knife, and it's unclear whether she wants to love him or kill him after the whole shootout with the Yakuza thing. Anyway, the boys leave the school and get on the train without getting caught by Yuki, and they go to the cops to deliver the information that they gathered on the Yakuza during the school day. And now, the racist Pufferfish Pete is the commissioner of the police. A racist leading the police? Raise your hand if you're surprised. That's what I thought. He says that they now have enough information on the Yakuza to pull off a bust. And he also offers the boys coke. The police say that if the boys don't accept to continue to work for them, they'll be killed. So naturally, the boys accept. They get all dressed up like detectives, they get a bunch of guns, and the cops give them a list of Yakuza that they need to take out. Unfortunately for Sam, or fortunately, depending on the day, Yuki is on the list. The boys set out on their new job and they run into Dom. Dom gives them the inside scoop and he says that his dad, Mr. Dorito, need I remind you, is selling his products to the Yakuza. So the boys sneak into the Dorito HQ and they discover Mr. Dorito's secret plan. In exchange for Doritos, the Yakuza are giving him coke, and he's using the coke in his Dorito recipe to get people addicted to his product. So one thing leads to another, the boys shut down this Dorito drug operation and they arrest the Yakuza member. Capitalism really knows no bounds. And also, how did nobody notice coke in Doritos a little sooner? A bit later, the boys run into Yuki at the park. Sam approaches her alone and tries to act like it's all casual and attempts to lure her away. When the time is right, Tortoise, Green, and the cops ambush her and arrest her and bring her back to the station for interrogation. When they get there, they fucking put her in the electric chair for her interrogation. I am pretty confident that this cannot be allowed. Sam tries to interrogate her at first, but she won't say anything, so Grian steps in and says that if she doesn't tell him now, he'll shoot Sam.
What? One condition.
I don't make deals.
Dude, he's so tough.
You're gonna tell me where he is or I'm going to shoot Sam in the head.
So she squeals and says that the Yakuza are at the warehouse. Vague as hell, but okay. And the cops let her go. So the boys head for the warehouse where they find a Yakuza member called Marthy, and he is coked all the way out. Or at least he's supposed to be coked out. It seems more like he's just stoned out of his mind, but whatever. So Grian distracts him as Sam sneaks into the building, and he immediately finds a shit ton of coke. So the guys arrest Marthy, and they all go on their merry little way. And this whole thing seems to be getting to Sam's head a little bit.
Get in there! Get in there, I'll shoot! Get in there, I'll shoot your leg! There, shot him in the leg!
The realism in this story is just astounding. So Pepe finds the guys right after Sam gets done beating Marthy up for no reason, and he tells them that they need to head to the convenience store pronto. When they get there, they find another member of the Yakuza, Starfinder, holding Sugi hostage and attempting to rob the store. And Tortoise just fucking kills him on accident.
Full left
I
and
didn't
right.
think I was gonna kill him.
That's what they all say. So after Tortoise murdered someone, the boys find their way to the Yakuza HQ where the leader, Karu, gives up pretty quickly. Then, strangely, he gives Tortoise a letter.
Tortoise, I'm very disappointed in your decision. He was such a promising recruit. You reminded me of him so much. You know, we really are a nice organization. Perhaps we will meet again one day, Tortoise. Goodbye, Karu.
This is extremely out of left field, and we also don't ever find out who this he the letter is referring to actually is. While the boys are talking privately, Karu managed to stab one of the other cops present on the scene, and he tries to make a run for it. Paul Blart cuts him off though, and he's adamant that they have no choice but to kill him because he's too untrustworthy and dangerous to bring back to the station. Suddenly though, Tortoise is Karu's biggest defender after he received that mysterious letter from him, and he says that if they want to kill Karu, they'll have to kill him too.
If you're gonna kill him, you have to kill me too.
And his heart is in the right place. He makes a couple good points. He says that it's not fair for them to kill Karu now because they just got done killing his friends. It's natural to fight back to defend yourself in a situation like that. What's the difference between illegal murder and state-sanctioned murder? Some food for thought. Sam says it doesn't matter that some Yakuza had to die because they're criminals, and Tortoise retorts with, "What are we?"
He's a criminal!
And what are we, Sam?
That actually went kinda hard, I'm not gonna lie. Tortoise's argument doesn't hold though, and they end up killing Karu. Before he dies, he tells Tortoise, "We'll meet again, my son." Holy shit! So let's think about this for a second. This obviously should mean that Karu is Tortoise's dad, and Karu was already known to be the father of a different child, Yuki. And Tortoise and Yuki were previously involved with each other to a certain extent. They liked each other, they went to prom together, he took nude photos of her in the bath without her consent. So yeah, this is the incest asterisk thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. The reason I say incest with an asterisk is because immediately following this little revelation, Green and Sam seem extremely adamant that Karu is just lying to appeal to Tortoise's emotion.
Manipulating you, Tortoise!
No, he's not your dad.
He's manipulating you!
And it is confirmed with some sufficient level of confidence later on that no, Karu is not Tortoise's real dad. Tortoise has a real other biological father that is not Karu. We know this, Green and Sam know this, but Tortoise is still convinced for a good handful of episodes that Karu is his real father. He's not related to Karu at all and therefore is not at all related to Yuki, so no, it's not actually incest. But a weird incest fake out to include regardless. It's like the Studio Ghibli movie Up on Poppy Hill where the two main characters fall in love and then they realize that they might actually be related so they have to stop dating, but then by the end of the movie they find out that they're not actually related, but why was incest the driving plot of the movie? Anyway, back to the show. Karu is dead and Paul insists that they now have to lie to the commissioner about Karu's death because it wasn't supposed to get this messy. So they all agree to lie and say that Karu just got away, but they don't do a great job of hiding the evidence, they just leave him in this fucking dumpster. And also it's worth knowing that Tortoise doesn't want to have to lie to the commissioner about this. He wants to tell him the truth. But he's outnumbered, so he's forced to lie. The guys later run into Dom, and since Dom came out to his homophobic dad, he's been homeless and living on the streets. So Sam says that they should give their guns to Dom because he doesn't contribute to society anymore, so he should therefore be framed for the murder of Karu.
I'm thinking we could maybe get Dom because he's not really a contribution to society anymore.
Sam's a fucking asshole now if you hadn't gathered that. And he thinks homeless people all deserve to fucking die, I guess. Tortoise refuses to give his gun to Dom and it turns into a pretty intense argument that escalates to the point of Tortoise shooting Grian in the head. But it's Minecraft, so he's fine.
And Grian is looking like he's looking really pale.
A bit dizzy.
Are you getting pretty pale there, Grian? His skin looks a lot more pale than usual.
It's the same as it was before.
No, that looks way more pale,
exactly
dude.
the same.
He's practically a ghost.
Oh, he's fine.
He just threw up in the gutter.
He's just throwing up, things of joy.
I just need to lay down.
Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, well
They all make it back to the police station where they put Tortoise in this crazy padded cell room so that Green and Sam can lie to the commissioner about what happened without ethical Tortoise there to spill the beans about the murder. They tell him that Karu got away and he believes them, and the next step in their job with the cops is that they have to keep watch over the Yakuza as they do community service for their sentences. So once they're all sent to go do that, Sam immediately starts trying to beat the shit out of the prisoners. Tortoise attempts to intervene, but Sam insists that he's a cop now, so he can do whatever he wants.
get back in line.
Sam, what is wrong with you?
I'm a cop, dude. We have no repercussions to our actions.
I am consistently wowed by the political awareness in this show when it comes to cops. The day goes on and Sam tries to do some more illegal things.
I'm not paying for that, dude. I'm a cop. What are you gonna do about it? I'm a cop. Do you see this badge? What's the point of having a badge if you can't get away with things?
And eventually the boys run into Yuki at the park, and she's waiting on her dad. Yikes, bad news. She asks them if they know where he is, and Tortoise decides to tell Yuki that he's her brother and that their dad was murdered via song.
Yuki, your daddy's dead. Two corrupt cops shot her, and now he has no head.
No!
Yuki, your father's dead. Sam and Grian killed him.
No!
Yuki is reasonably so pretty pissed off, but conveniently, Dom strolls up and starts swinging a gun around, so Sam has the perfect opportunity to pin Yuki's father's murder on him.
Your dad was killed by Dom. He was running around with that gun like he is now. You see?
So they arrest him. And Dom is under the impression that this is all just pretend, so he's not really worried in the slightest, and he's playing along. Once they bring him to the station, they once again put him in the electric chair for interrogation. Sam bribes Dom not to mention their names to Yuki, Yuki goes a little crazy, one thing leads to another, and Sam fucking pulls the switch for the electric chair. But miraculously, Dom lives and they let him go. This guy could have the craziest lawsuit of all time on his hands. All of this leads to another argument between Sam and Tortoise, which somehow leads to Tortoise sitting in the fucking electric chair and Sam pulling the switch. When Tortoise is electrocuted, it results in him losing his memories again. It's not as bad as last time though, it's no Jerry situation. But he has forgotten the whole Karu killing situation and he thinks that they haven't caught him yet.
Your name's
Sam,
Thomas.
We need to catch the Yakuza.
But he's also still under the impression that Karu is his dad, even though that chronologically makes no sense because they found out that Karu was his dad after they already caught him, and Tortoise thinks that they haven't caught him yet. Whatever. So now, Sam and Grian have to redo the entire Karu capturing scene for Tortoise, but this time without the murder. That way, Tortoise is on the same page as their lie, and now he won't be able to tell anyone about the truth regarding the murder. Make sense? So, Grian is pretending to be Karu by wearing his skin.
We need to get you hiding over here with the Yakuza dad's skin on.
And I'm not sure if they mean his Minecraft skin or like his canonical in-universe skin, like his flesh. One of these things is a lot worse than the other. But somehow this works, and Tortoise actually believes that Grian is Karu and his dad. And Yuki happens to show up too, and she also believes that Grian is her dad. And now, Grian has no choice but to continue to pretend to be their dad because turns out his visa expired and if he were found as Grian, he would be deported. Right. So this little dad act is kept up successfully for another small handful of episodes. Nothing of note happens for a while until one day Paul Blart shows up and offhandedly tells Yuki the truth about her dad being dead and how they killed him. This causes her to go crazy, as usual, and she starts chasing after him with a knife. The boys run for their lives and they hide in the movie theater. And from their hiding spot, they watch Yuki kill Paul Blart.
Oh, Paul. Why would you kill a dead dad joke right now?
Shame. Those will be your last words. Ah! Paul? Is Paul there?
His name
disappeared.
So now that the situation has escalated a lot, Grian and Sam can't really continue to lie to Tortoise, so they have to come clean about Karu's death, but also about how Karu isn't actually his dad. There's not much time to worry about family drama now though, because they still have to escape Yuki. They find Dom and Pam to act as a distraction for them, and they use this opportunity to meet up with gym teacher Rowan, who can act as their valiant protector. He insists that they just go confront her, so they do, and it ends in Rowan being f***ing killed. When the boys find his body, they also find a note written by Yuki.
Sorry, my beloved rabbit, but you made me do this.
It's all your
about
fault.
you, Sam.
It's all your fault, Sam.
The deaths are in your hands. If you want this all over, bring me Grian. And then you and I can live happily ever after.
Oh, snap.
All right, I guess.
Find me on the rooftop. Yuki-chan. P.S. Don't make me wait long. Well, I'm going back to England.
Oh, no, great.
So once again, the boys flee the school and find Okami and Silly. Grian bluntly tells them that Rowan is dead.
Your husband's dead.
Oh, wow, that was pretty blunt.
Deader than a doorknob.
Remember, Rowan is Okami's husband and Silly's father, so ouch. Okami tells the boys to meet the two of them back at school this evening, so they do just that. The five of them enter the school and head up to the roof where Yuki waits for them, surrounded by the remaining Yakuza members. Sam thinks that this is the best opportunity to break up with Yuki, and when he does this, a fight breaks out between the two sides.
I'm breaking up with you, you psycho monster.
Eventually, all of the Yakuza are killed except for Yuki, but she'd rather die than be taken in, so she fucking kills herself and jumps off of the roof.
No, Yuki!
Is she alive?
I'm not upset about this at all.
After she's dead, the ghost of Gareth appears and says that they avenged his ex-wife, meaning Yuki was the one who killed her all those days ago. Turns out the reason she did this goes all the way back to her little crush on Tortoise at the beginning of the series. Back in episode 1 or 2, Tortoise made a joke about fucking Garrett's ex-wife, so Yuki just killed her. I told you it would all come back around in the end. Then Salix's ghost shows up and thanks Tortoise for avenging her, and she gives him a kiss before her and Gareth pass on to the afterlife so their souls can finally be at peace. I feel like it was pretty heavily implied before this, but we did just get our confirmation that Yuki was the one that killed Salix and Chan had no involvement at all. Now that all that's done, Okami says that they're gonna have to put the boys, including Dom, in witness protection because Yakuza still remain and their lives are in danger. So they're all gonna be relocated somewhere else, which is presumably where the Tokyo Soul series begins. I don't know, I haven't actually seen it yet. I'm a busy gal. Finally, for all the trauma the boys have endured, Okami passes all of them and we get a sick as f freeze frame ending. So there we have it, the end of Yandere High School. It's definitely been a roller coaster, but I'll give credit where credit's due. It has a way more intriguing storyline than the source material does. Yandere Simulator reinforces the fetishization of underage schoolgirls, and Yandere High School does this a little less. Yeah, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm realizing it definitely doesn't not do that, but it does do it less. What Yandere High School has going for it that Yandere Simulator and other Minecraft roleplays don't is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like I've mentioned several times before, I'm a pretty busy person, but I still found myself looking forward to watching this series even though it came with a lot of work for myself, because at least it was kinda funny. Some of the humor is definitely dated, like the whole Pepe the Frog being an allegory for real-life racism. Yeah, that was kinda weird. Sometimes it's dated in a different way, like with all of the B-movie jokes and stuff like that. You can really tell that it was coming out in 2015. But otherwise, I feel like there are still a lot of pretty good, funny moments, and I think that Sam, Tortoise, and Grian mesh together really well, and they bring a lot of good out in each other when it comes to comedy and improv. I also am more inclined to excuse inconsistencies in the plot because it's clear the production value isn't very high, but these people still did the best that they could with what they had. Given all of that, it's really not that bad at all. Unfortunately though, there are a couple things that I feel are a little bit less excusable. This is where things get tricky, and I want to make myself clear, this is not me trying to say Sam is a terrible person or that we should all rush to cancel him. I just want to ask what you guys think because I don't really know where I stand on this, honestly. It would not be fair for me to hold Sam to a different standard than I held Aphmau to, so I do think that I have to say that I am pretty confident that Sam's audience was quite young at the time, and sometimes some of the topics discussed aren't really suitable for that audience. The one difference is that Sam wasn't always a kids creator from the very beginning because a lot of his early videos did include a lot of profanity, but his audience definitely shifted in that direction after he started making roleplay content. It's another one of those things where we have to debate, is it ethical to include these depictions of suicide, drug use, obsession, stalking, etc., when your audience is known to be quite young? But then you get into the technicalities of how what a child watches is the responsibility of a parent and not some creator on YouTube. But then it gets even more complex. Should a creator be required to include some kind of content warning? Would a content warning negate blame? It's complicated, and I think it's way more complicated than just being able to say that a creator is right or wrong. Blame obviously falls onto a neglectful parent first and foremost. But I do think it's worth noting that creators should probably put some kind of protection or warning in place if their content that is made for older audiences could potentially fall into the hands of younger kids. Especially when it's something like Minecraft that has a very strong young audience, and at the time this was being uploaded, a very small adult audience. Obviously putting a 13+ warning or content warnings before your episodes or whatever isn't really gonna do that much, but I feel like it's better than nothing. It's easy for kids to end up where they're not supposed to be, especially when you put adult themes in Minecraft. Overall, I don't really know my opinion, honestly. It's still up for debate. Again, I'm not the end-all be-all authority on this topic. I don't have any kids, and my only knowledge on the subject is that I was one at one point, and I did frequently end up where I didn't belong on the internet. So that's it, ladies, gentlemen, and others. If you guys enjoy it, I will certainly consider doing a part 2 and talking about Tokyo Soul. I haven't started it yet, but I will probably start it immediately after I upload this part. And once again, if you have any other suggestions of other things you want me to talk about, please leave them below. I mentioned in my Aphmau series that I want to talk about the Dream SMP at some point, but I anticipate that'll take a really long time, so I'm waiting until summer when I'll have a lot more time to work on it. Everything I've discussed before has been Minecraft related, but please, by all means, if you have something else you want me to discuss, let me know. I am open to all nostalgic internet destinations. I'm considering talking about the Animal Jam lore if that's something you guys were into as kids. Thank you guys again for supporting me, it means more than you'll ever know. I know my channel is comparatively quite small, but it makes little kid me happy to see that something I thought was unattainable is actually within reach. So thank you again, and I'll see you soon.